If you felt the connection to this world and you went to school for it and you know this is what you want to do, absolutely be confident in what you do. Not just the knowledge part, but as a woman, like, hey, you want to be aware of your surroundings and you want to make sure that you know what you're doing and have your plan. And there are so many things that you can learn from someone who has done some of these things, and they can help you understand better so you can figure out your own plan.
Welcome to another episode of AEC Insider. This week, we're continuing our series called The Other 25%, where we highlight the stories of the 25% of people that work in the architecture, engineering, construction field that aren't white and male. We have as a guest here today, Suzanne Doody. She's a marketing manager over at Vierbicher out of Madison, Wisconsin. Vierbicher is a mid-sized firm. They actually just won 2 awards over from SWI Group, Hot Firm and Best Firm to Work For. Congrats on that, Suzanne. And Suzanne, just to get us started, I would love to hear your story. So who is Suzanne? How did she get into the architecture engineering world? Tell me.
Really by coincidence. I'm originally from New York, went to school in Ohio, moved to Wisconsin, have loved Madison ever since I got here. And, when we first moved here, I was looking around for work. I started at a temp firm, did a couple temp jobs, landed at an environmental engineering firm that just needed like a little help getting through they had a lot of reports going out, trying to get some work out the door. Stayed with them for a few weeks, and at the end, I'm about to leave, and the vice president is like, so I'm starting this new service line, and we've worked really well, and I could use your help, and would you do it? I'm like, that sounds great. Not knowing a whole lot about the AEC world yet. Knew enough, like I had a lot of friends who were engineers in college, so understood some, but I'm like, never thought I was going to be in the AEC world. This was not where I was going. So I'm like, no, that sounds great. And, she was very much the operations and sales side, and she needed help with the marketing side. And I'm like, okay. In the beginning, it was a lot of pay attention, like actually read all the RFPs and all the stuff that comes through and understand what we need to respond back and, read all the contracts. And I was a focused, detail-oriented person, so that worked real well. And then just spent several years with her learning all the other facets of marketing in the AEC world.
Oh, wow. That's really cool. So marketing in AEC, how does that even play out? I mean, who do you market to? Like, how does that go? Because I think of marketing like, okay, this is marketing for selling cars. This is marketing for selling cell phones. Yeah. How do you sell huge engineering projects? Like, how do you market that?
For one, I say that we kind of market to everybody, because there's a part that most people, I think, don't know, and that's internal marketing. I was just discussing this with our HR manager the other day. Like, we need to promote who we are and what we do to our own staff even. Like, hey, we're doing these great things. You should know about it. That's like one piece. But to your question, we market in so many ways. We just generally get our name out there. We do advertising and job site signs.
And it's a hard name to get out there, right?
If people I meet at networking events, that's question one. How do you say your name? Like, yes.
Yeah, that's actually for people who are watching. That was my question. Just Suzanne.
It is a German last name. It's. I appreciate people asking the question, and honestly, if they try, I appreciate that too. But
yeah, of course.
Just having our name seen is part of it. Responding to requests for proposals is part of it. People throw out there, hey, we want to get this work done. Who wants to submit a proposal to us? We respond to those. We coordinate going to trade shows and conferences and networking events, and it's getting
there's a lot
developing relationships.
Yeah.
And it's entirely what we want. We want relationships. We want people to know who we are, what we do, and, hope that there's a connection and that we can help each other in future projects.
For sure. And you seem to be great at that. Suzanne and I had a call before setting up this podcast. Just such a nice person. Just feel like you've known her for years. Suzanne, so it's really nice to hear your story in the architecture, engineering, and construction world, how you got into it. I actually want to ask you a little question. I see on your LinkedIn here that you spent some time in the hockey world, like ice hockey. What's that about?
Did and still do. So growing up, hockey was not big. I grew up in the tri-state area back east, and I knew the NHL. Moved here, and Wisconsin is different. Wisconsin loves their hockey. Minnesota and Michigan too, but Wisconsin loves their hockey. I'm like, oh, this is really interesting. I wonder, it seemed, and I met someone through work. I was working at an architecture engineering firm. We were working on a project, and one of our subcontractors, we worked a lot with them. And he was from a hockey world. He started when he was 4. He knew everything. I'm like, oh, so how would someone like me go about doing this? He's like, hold on, I think I know someone. Again, connections to everything. He gave me the number of a woman who was in charge of a women's hockey group. And I'm like, okay, let me try this. And it's been my experience that the women's hockey groups I know in the area are all like, come try, we will get you equipment, we will help you, fix your skating, we'll do all this. So I started playing, and it was amazing because it was my first foray into a women's group. I have them professionally now, but that was the support I didn't know I needed. Wow. It was amazing to have other women around me who were incredibly supportive and just wanted to help in any way they could, whether it was hockey, work, personal life, didn't matter. But they say that once you start playing hockey, the bug bites you and you never go back. And that is true. My son started the next year.
Oh, wow.
I started coaching the year after that. I started reffing a few years after that. My son started reffing the year after. I currently run an adult tournament every spring.
Wow.
I just, all of it, like hockey.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love it. I love it. So you said a line that I really like, women helping women, and that leads us to our next question. So as a woman in a male-dominant industry like architecture engineering, how do you think your experience have shaped the way that you approach the role?
I'm sure it's partly being female, but also I am a cautious person. I like to survey everything before I really get into it. And I think that's helped me a lot. Not being the engineer in the room, I ask questions.
Oh, that's interesting.
I listen. I'm like, explain that to me. Tell me how that works. And me understanding what they do, I feel has helped my role. Like, okay, you explain it to me, because our clients are very intelligent people, but they're not all engineers. Mm-hmm. So you can't expect them, if this is their first project, you can't expect them to understand everything. And we're one of those industries that's acronym heavy, and we forget. So you can't expect them to understand all the engineering.
The ABC 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7 things, and then nobody knows what you're talking about anymore, right?
So I have always been like, okay, help me explain that, help me understand, how do these work together? And I think that comes across when we present ourselves.
Sure.
We make sure not to present ourselves as,
for sure,
here's all the technical jargon speak. Here's how we can help you. And I see that in a lot of other women as well. Like, I think we naturally want to make things connect and make things work. And I see that in a lot of other women. Like, they're very helpful in explaining and bringing things together. And not that men don't, but
no, I agree.
Maybe it's because
superior creatures. I get it. I have a wife. I have a daughter. A mom. I get it.
Yeah.
For sure, for sure. Suzanne, in an industry, like we said, where 75% of people are white and male, why do you think that is? Why is it like that? And what do you see as opportunities to encourage more young women to get into the field?
So and I look at my experience solely, and I do think it's changing now, but when I was growing up, that's what I saw. Like my mom was a nurse, and every other nurse she worked with was a woman. So to a young child, like, oh, women are nurses. My father was a computer technician, and everyone but one person he worked with was male. There was one female, and I certainly looked up to her, and I thought she was amazing, but still, like, oh, it's all male. Is that how it's supposed to be? And if you don't get other experiences, I think you hang on to what you've learned as you grow up.
What you know, exactly. Yeah.
The phrase, you can be what you see, I fully stand behind. One of the things I love about my current women's group is that we try to reach out to other college-age students and sometimes high school, like, hey, do you know about this? You may be focused, you may know exactly what you want to do after college. If you don't, if you're still considering, there is this. Or honestly, it's not just, you don't just have to be an engineer to come into AEC or an architect. Like there are so many other paths in. It's like, we want to show you all these different things. One thing that I've really come to appreciate in the last probably 3 years, I'm seeing a lot more girls' camps in the summer. So, you have summer off, you do things. This is a time where I've seen multiple organizations, some AE firms, some association groups get together and actually create a camp geared at young women to show them all the things. So their parents may not be in the AEC world. Their high school may not have the funds to promote that yet. I've certainly seen it in some high schools, like, hey, here are all the things you can do. You
in
don't
STEM,
have to be a doctor,
right?
a lawyer, Look at this. You can make a great career out of this, but not every school has those funds.
Sure.
So I see these camps, and the one I've participated in the last 2 years really gets out there. They're free. They promote to the entire community, like, people who are, have better means, probably have a better option of sending their kids somewhere. My best friend in grade school got to go to space camp. Her parents had the means, they were able. Not every kid can go to space camp.
Yeah, for sure.
This local camp is free. They promote it highly around the area, and they get a very diverse group of young women who walk in, and I've had them tell me, like, they didn't know about the engineering, the architecture, the interior design. They didn't know anything about it, and by the end of the week, they're telling me all about their favorite project from the week. Because every day is kind of like, learn a little, do a project, so it's very hands-on. And they're just beaming like, I didn't know about this, I want to do this, I want to do this at home, I'm going to go look at colleges for this. And these are things they weren't saying before they came to the camp. So
wow, that's
it's
awesome.
Really just making it available and accessible to just as many young women as we can, I think, is what's going to help change it.
Let them have the option.
Yes,
if they decide
the
against it, okay. But if they decide for it, that's awesome, right?
There are so many things out there, and that's great. But this is not something I'm familiar with growing up. Growing up, summer camp was summer camp. You went to the pool, which is great. I mean, you should get that relaxation time. But there was never anything like this. I was fortunate that sometimes I could follow my parents to work and at least see what they did.
Yeah.
But that's not an option. Like, I love these camps that are bringing in these young women and going, here are some things you can do. If this doesn't interest you, that's fine. But also now you just know.
Amazing. Yeah. That sounds great. And so to these young women, so they go to camp, they love it, and they start to think about getting into AEC after college. What advice would you give to these young women looking to enter the industry?
Be confident.
Be confident.
I think there's still a little of a vibe out there, like, are you sure you want to do this, honey? Yeah, yes. You if you felt the connection to this world and you went to school for it and you know this is what you want to do, absolutely be confident in what you do.
For sure.
Get a mentor. That's another thing that was amazing for me. I was lucky to find a mentor over 15 years ago. But, you know, it was someone who had been through, like, I was looking at this path, they'd already been there. It's like, oh, well, I've learned this and I've learned that. And I know through some women's groups, it's, hey, this is what you expect at a trade show. Like, not just the knowledge part, but as a woman, like, hey, you know, you want to be aware of your surroundings and you want to make sure that you know what you're doing and have your plan. And there are so many things that you can learn from someone who has done some of these things, and they can help you understand better so you can figure out your own plan.
Yeah. Wow. That's great advice. That's great advice.
And honestly, find a women's group.
And play hockey.
Well,
right?
Oh yeah. I have nothing against everyone in the world playing hockey. But, you know, I still have that support from women in hockey, but I have found professional women's groups and they have been amazing. They're that mentor and support, and, you know, they're there for advice. They're there to help you find that next step in your ladder. Like, we want all the women to be CEOs. And
wow,
if you can get
like
together and help the next woman rise up, absolutely.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Suzanne, thank you so much for your time. Really great hearing your story. Do you have anything else you want to say to any young women that are listening to us here? What would you like to, other than play hockey?
Other than play hockey, and actually this applies to hockey too, you can do it.
I love it.
If this is what you want to do, you can absolutely do it. And there's someone out there who's ready to stand by you and support your dream.
Wow. Wow. Amazing. Thank you so much, Suzanne. Guys, we're going to tag her here on LinkedIn, Suzanne Doody. Add her, follow what she's doing over there at Vierbicher. Such a great person, such an inspiration. Thank you so much, Suzanne. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. See ya.